In this video, I'm going to talk about graphing polynomial functions. Let's say we need to sketch the graph of a polynomial x cubed minus x squared minus 5x minus 3. In order to sketch it, we need to factorize it first. The factors of -3 are plus minus 1 and plus minus 3. Now we need to sub the values into x to see whether it equals to 0. Let's say we sub -1 into the polynomial, and we will get the solution as 0. Based on the factor theorem, if you sub a value into the polynomial and the answer is 0, then x minus that value will be a factor of the polynomial. In this case, x plus 1 would be a factor of the polynomial. And by using long division, we can divide the polynomial by x plus 1, and we will eventually get x plus 1 times x minus 3 times x plus 1. So the polynomial would be x plus 1 squared times x minus 3. Okay, now I've factorized it. Let's head into the sketching part. First, let's find the x-intercept. If y equals to 0, then x plus 1 equals to 0, or x minus 3 equals to 0. So the x-intercept would be -1 and 3. So we can mark the x-intercept on the graph. Now let's find the y-intercept. If x equals to 0, then y would be 0 minus 0 minus 0 minus 3. So the y-intercept would be -3. And let's mark that onto the graph. Okay, now we need to test the values that are smaller than -1, between -1 and 3, and bigger than 3. So first we can test that x is smaller than -1. Let's say x equals to -2. So we can sub -2 into x, and we will eventually get -5. -5 is smaller than 0, so the curve is below the x-axis for x smaller than -1. Now let's test if x is between -1 and 3. Say x equals to 0. The answer would be -3, which is also smaller than 0. So the curve is also below the x-axis if x is between -1 and 3. Last, we need to test the scenario when x is bigger than 3. Let's say x equals to 4. The answer would be 25, which is bigger than 0. So the curve is above x-axis for x bigger than 3. With all that information, we can draw a graph like this. As we can see, the polynomial is a cubic function. For every polynomial that has an odd degree, the end of the graph would be in opposite directions. So this is going down and that is going up. In opposite, a polynomial with an even degree, such as x squared minus 4, would be something like this. So the ending point in a graph of a polynomial with an even degree will be in the same direction, so both of them are going up. And if the leading coefficient is smaller than 0, it will become something like this. So both is going down, same as one with odd degrees. If the leading coefficient is negative, then it will look something like this. But still the endpoints are in opposite directions. Okay, that's all for today. I'll see you next time.